In this video, posted by Clown World, a man goes on to explain why he's very happy that his wife's boyfriend is happy. Oh man, you got to see this one. Someone commented, "Does your wife's boyfriend enjoy these videos?" This man then goes on to explain in great detail why, in fact, his wife's boyfriend does, and how he's very good friends with his wife's boyfriend. I'm going to show you this video. But the purpose of this video that I'm doing here is to explain to you, you're not insulting this guy. He's happy about this. And when the left calls the right-wing conservative people or religious folk virgins, they're like, oh, thank you. You're not insulting them. The divide is so entrenched that people don't even realize they're not actually insulting each other anymore, which has very interesting ramifications in the culture war, which I want to elaborate on. But first, let me play for you this video. Is it going to play?
This comment reads, "Does your wife's boyfriend enjoy these videos?" Well, first of all, I don't have a wife. I have a spouse. They're non-binary, and we don't use gendered language in this household. Their partner is also non-binary and doesn't use gendered language. So, yes, to answer your question, my spouse's partner does enjoy these videos. In fact, my spouse's partner and I are very good friends. I've known them longer than my spouse has. Me, my spouse's partner, and my spouse's partner's partner were all in Scotland not that long ago for a lovely vacation. It's called ethical non-monogamy.
I'm going to pause right there and just point out the word partner means either of a pair of people engaged together in the same activity. Okay. This means your spouse cannot have a partner because now you're tri-partners or something. You get it? Your partner is your spouse. That's it. That's it. Whatever. If your wife has a partner, that means pair. These people they've completely lost their minds, but let me just keep playing.
Or polyamory. Maybe you've heard of it. I don't know why you think this is an insult in any way, shape, or form. Listen, just because your sense of masculinity is so fragile that it would lose out to tissue paper and durability test doesn't mean mine is.
Ah, right there. You see, there you go. I don't know why you think that would be an insult, my friend. Clearly, he was hurt by the wife's boyfriend thing, but let's play more.
Anyway, half a day.
Half a day. Half a day. I'd like to just point out the logical inconsistency once again real quick. He says he doesn't have a wife's boyfriend because they don't use gendered language, which is just creepy cult behavior. And I think most people upon seeing this would be like, this man's in a cult. Imagine if someone was like, we don't use nouns in this household, only verbs. And you're like, but you literally just use nouns. And that's what? What you're saying makes literally no sense. So he says, my wife's partner. Your wife is paired up with someone else, then they're not paired up with you. These people have no idea what they're talking about. You see, what they have is an amalgam of nonsensical ideas they've mashed together that only makes sense if you agree to use words to mean certain. Like, if it only makes sense if you just understand the flow system. Meaning, in a core language, a logical system, you can present it to a person who you've never met and they can begin to understand it. But there are certain things with language that are much harder to understand without some cipher. The Rosetta Stone was a great tool in us translating hieroglyphics because it was the stone that translated, I think it was like Greek and Egyptian and something else, or the hieroglyphics. Now, it is widely believed that we would have still been able to decipher hieroglyphics either way, because you can look at references to certain things and see like, here's a menu for food, and it's got these symbols on it. We can figure it out. The Rosetta Stone just basically sped everything up. But in a logical system, say binary, you would be able to communicate with a person who understands the logical system of binary, kind of like it being its own language. For these people, they say things that do not have a logical structure. They don't actually come together, except in their own minds. They know what the word references. So if you go to a regular person and say, my wife's partner, they're going to be like, huh? Partner means two, a pair. Your wife having a partner, how is she your wife then? What does that even mean? To them, they understand it because they give new definitions to these words to fit their own twisted, broken logic. Or I shouldn't say broken logic, I should say logic lack thereof. They've created a system where they can communicate using language in ways that make literally no sense to anybody who actually speaks the language. Now, as for the insulting part about all of this is what I really wanted to get to. This guy's not insulted for the most part. You can tell that he's a little irked when he says, I don't know why your masculinity is so threatened by this. He's trying to strike back to insult someone because they insulted him. I don't think he's insulted that someone said wife's boyfriend. I think he's more so insulted that you would try to disrespect him. And so he returns fire. Yo, a dude whose wife has a boyfriend cannot insult my masculinity. Like, that's just not possible. So when this guy's like, my wife's partner, I'm secure in my masculinity. Why aren't you? Yours is tissue paper. I'm just like, dude, that means nothing coming from you. Nothing. And I got to be honest, I don't really think there is a circumstance where anybody of any stature can insult my masculinity because I don't even know or care what you think. That's just it. And probably the most masculine thing you can do is just be yourself, strive every day to be better. But these people, they're not insulted by this stuff. So when you go online and you insult it, we know what's really happening. It's a virtue signal. When someone says to this guy, your wife's boyfriend, you know they don't care. But someone else may see you having said it and then be like, haha, yeah, high five, wife's boyfriend. Just like when they call Ben Shapiro an incel. This is my favorite. These woke media people are like, Ben Shapiro is the king of the incels. And I'm like, the man is married and has children. It's like the inverse, the opposite of an incel. They just say it. It makes no sense. But a better example is when they call devout individuals, either Jewish or Christian, they call them virgins. They did that to Ben Shapiro. They made fun of Ben Shapiro. They were like, you're a virgin until you got married. And he was like, right, that's what we actually tell people to do. Like, I don't understand. You're trying to insult someone by telling them that they do a thing that they publicly announce they do. It just makes no sense. But you get it? Just like it makes no sense to insult a Christian or Jewish person because they're a virgin, it makes no sense to insult a soy boy because his wife has a boyfriend. They say what I really love about the whole polyamory thing is that it serves literally no purpose. Bro, you don't have a spouse. You don't. You just have a group of people who bang each other. That's it. And this is the thing about their logic. And you know what? I tweeted this earlier. I blame Ronald Reagan. I think maybe only Woodrow Wilson has done more to destroy this country than he did. And a lot of people are like, is this a joke, Tim? What's the joke? Don't insult Ronald Reagan. Dude, no fault divorce, immigration, gun control. Get out of here. No fault divorce was like going right to the root of the plant and just dumping poison on it. Marriage is a lifelong contract between you and another person so that you can build a life together, have a family, right? When you say no fault divorce, you just eliminated marriage. Ronald Reagan took the concept of marriage and ripped it to shreds, set it on fire, and then pissed all over it. In order for a contract to exist, for a marriage to exist, there has to be social enforcement. If two people say, till death do us part, there it goes. Now, divorce is still possible without no-fault divorce, meaning if a man is abusive, if a woman is cheating, then you can be like, they call it cheating for a reason. Cheating. We have a contract together. You violated that contract. Now I am unhappy in this marriage, so let's just end it. There's no marriage then. Marriage is supposed to be a binding contract. If we've eliminated contractual obligations in marriage, then there's no marriage anymore. You're just dating. And that's why so many people get married and divorced. How many celebrities, they were married one year and divorced the next? Because they're not really getting married. They're just dating. Which brings me to this guy. Bro, you don't have a spouse. You don't have a wife. It's just some lady you're dating. And she's dating other people at the same time. That's it. The funny thing is, back in the day, dating didn't involve sex. Women would date multiple men because it just meant going to dinner on a date. Then they'd go home, smile, shake hands or hug or whatever, and that was it. Then eventually they'd be going steady, meaning they would be dating the person regularly, going out on dates until they decided we should spend our lives together. Now you have guys like this who are just like, here's a lady that I'm hooking up with, and here's a guy that that she hooks up with, and we're all good friends. Okay, great. Call it polyamory, call it whatever you want. You're just a group of people who bang each other. There's nothing there. Even if you agree in the short term, we're going to have an agreement based on how we live our lives or whatever, there's no marriage. Just because you're like, I plan to date you for a long time, that's not marriage. Marriage is when you agree till death do us part, and we have gotten rid of it. But anyway, I digress. My point here, ultimately, you can't insult somebody who's not living the way you want them to live. Like, they don't care. You can call this guy a soy boy, he's going to laugh. And then he's going to go have a three-way with his wife's boyfriend. And they've chosen to do that. You're not insulting someone by saying, haha, you're doing a thing you proclaim to do. Just like when they do it to the right. I think there's interesting ramifications there in that we are clearly two distinct tribes of people. And where that goes, I don't know, conflict. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 8 p.m. tonight over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.